It's Dockin' right here on your Classic Metal Show from the Live from the Sun release. That is Too High to Fly, the 15-minute version that Chris loves so much.
I don't hate it. I mean, I don't hate it. It's just long.
Yeah, it is long. So I do like the Doors breakdown thing that they do. I think that's pretty cool.
Sure.
And then, for a little tidbit for you.
All right.
The Ray-Bans Don was wearing for the show last night. Mm-hmm. Those were mine.
Oh,
he left his at the hotel, and he said, "I can't walk on stage without my Ray-Bans. That's my look."
Dude, where's my credit on the DVD for sunglasses provided by the CMS?
Right, but those are my glasses, by the way. So,
well, that officially makes you important.
I am important. God damn it. Well, speaking of important, you had an important engagement yourself last night.
I did.
Let's find out about the babies, man.
Well, it certainly was not as engaged as what you went through.
Well, mine was a 3-day ordeal. Yours was like a 3-hour ordeal.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was fun, and as always, there was shit swirling around me, as always seems to be the case. So. I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I went last night with Kelly, who I always go to everything with,
sure.
and my friend Bob, who I had not gone to anything with in a long, long time since we were kids. I grew up with Bob, and he was actually in my brother's class, 2 years behind me. So I always knew Bob, and I ran into him a few years ago at Anthrax, at an Anthrax show.
Okay.
And, we just sort of started talking and Facebook friended and, we talked back and forth here and there.
Sure.
So at some point, we were both, a month ago or whatever it was, we both were at Slayer.
Right. He found you at the Nautica?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we got to talking in between Death Angel and Anthrax. We were just having a beer and talking, and somehow, some way, it came up that I was going to the babies, and I had been having the hardest time finding anybody to go to the babies, because nobody remembers them.
Yeah.
Because it's from the late 70s.
The late 70s. They were probably most popular between 77 to 80.
Right, and and I said this last night to Bob, and I think it's probably true. Even if you were a big fan of rock radio in the late 70s and early 80s type, the Babies were not a big band.
Yeah, they were not mega stars.
No, they were, if you heard a 3-song selection of whatever, you heard Journey, then the Babies, then Foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
So the DJ would come out and say, okay, we're going to go to a song now. Here's Don't Stop Believin'. And then they would play the baby song in the middle, and they would come out, and they would be like, that was Foreigner with Urgent. But the Babies were kind of that anonymous sort of a band.
Sure.
You didn't know a whole lot about them. So, and even for me, I was a fan, but I knew 5 songs that I knew going into the interviews that I did with them. So, having problems finding people, I had asked my mom if she wanted to go, thinking, she's older school. She might dig it. She didn't know who they were. And Kelly, she's just up to do anything. She don't care. So she went. I asked Matt Wardlaw, because he's usually down for that kind of thing, but he was busy.
He's definitely a melodic rock AOR guy.
Certainly. And him and I are big Journey guys.
Sure.
So with John Waite being a kind of a sub Journey, with bad English and whatnot, that was sort of, maybe that would be cool, but he was busy. So finally I'm at this Slayer show, and I mentioned I was going to the Babies, and he was like, dude, I fucking love the Babies. And I was like, oh, cool. You want to go? Cause I had our friend Jen, Swiffer bitch Jen,
right,
hooked me up with the Babies, and I did some interviews and whatnot. And she hooked me up with four tickets and passes. So I invited him to come out. So we were like, yeah, we'll go see this show. So we made a plan to meet up yesterday at a place in Akron for dinner first, because the show was at like 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to this little restaurant called Luigi's. I don't know if you've ever been there or not.
I know of it, but I have never been there.
It's actually sort of big inside. A lot of tables and stuff. They're real crowded. I mean, it was fucking packed. People waiting to sit down in this place. So we go there and we're having some dinner. So as always, I have to mess with the waitresses.
Sure, of course.
I never let this go where I don't mess with the waitress. So we're all sitting there and they're taking our orders and whatnot. And she goes around the table, taking orders. And I'm last, and Kelly got whatever she got, and Bob got whatever he got. And with each person, she's asking about a salad. So she asked me about a salad, and I just looked at her deadpan. I was like, do you even see me? And she didn't know to laugh or not. These two, they're busted up because I'm making a fat joke at my own expense. But she doesn't want to laugh because I wasn't laughing. So she was just really uncomfortable.
She was mortified.
She was uncomfortable as hell.
Sure.
And it gets worse from there. So she brings us our food and, whatever. And at some point, Kelly got up to, I don't know, go to the bathroom or have a smoke or whatever the fuck it was. So Kelly was drinking wine, and me and Bob were drinking beers.
Mm-hmm.
And her wine glass was empty. So she comes over and she says, does your friend want another glass of wine? And I was like, at first I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. Definitely get her another glass of wine. And she made the joke. The waitress makes the joke. Oh, you're trying to get her drunk, are you? And I said, how else am I going to fuck her tonight?
Wow. Nice.
Just blurted it out of my mouth. And she looked at me in sheer horror.
Of course.
And Bob looks at me. He's like, what the fuck, dude? and she just, the waitress was like, oh, I think that's a little TMI for me.
Yeah, sure.
But she was really uncomfortable. And then she didn't come back to our table the rest of the night after that one.
So who served you the rest of the night, or did you
we were pretty much done at that point.
Oh, okay, all right.
We were halfway through our meals, and we had drinks.
Sure.
So that was it. She was gone after that. She dropped me the check, and that was the end of it.
And it's like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this foul mouth asshole.
Oh, whatever. She got a $25 tip on a $70 meal. So
I get it. Dude, I get it. Believe me, I really do.
You know how I roll, dude. It's like, I'll treat you like an asshole, but I will definitely pay for it.
See, here's the thing that I shouldn't say I realize. I know this to be fact. Uh-huh. What you and I consider normal discussion is just so sensitive or just highly toxic to most average people.
I know, they can't handle it.
You and I can have discussions about chicks or racism or pussy or anything, and to us that's just normal discussion. But to anybody else, they're horrified.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, wow, really? I'm thinking that this is just like the most normal thing in the world.
Yeah.
But to other people, it's just like, oh, you're outlandish. You're crazy. Oh, my God.
Well, you know what it is, dude? Honestly, and I've been, as you can imagine, I've been fighting all week with all the fucking Hillary Trump people, after the debates.
Sure.
And I believe truly what it is it's not that anybody is shocked that anything is said. It's that it's said outside of the back room.
Oh, well, okay, I'll agree with that.
Because, me making that comment last night, if I'd have said it amongst my buddies at a party here at the house, nobody bats an eye. Couple giggles, and that's about it. Nobody would really bat an eye, right?
Sure.
But God forbid you say it in a restaurant. Oh, how dare you, sir? You are a heathen. But yeah, so it made for an interesting dinner, to say the least. Good dinner, though. Good food. If anybody's ever in Akron, check that place out, Luigi's.
Well, that's kind of funny, and I'm not going to take away from your story here.
It's fine.
But last night after the gig, Don and I and Serena walked back from the venue to the hotel. We walked. We could have taken the shuttle, but we just walked. It literally was across the street,
Right.
And basically, I asked Don about the whole Bobby Blotzer thing.
Okay.
Because Don played with quote-unquote Ratzer a week ago.
Right.
And I said, did you talk to Bobby at the show? I said, did he avoid you, or did you speak with him, or did you run into him at all? And he goes, yeah, I talked to him, and he goes, fucking Don Dokken, you make these comments about what I'm doing on stage. It's none of your fucking business, dude, that I leave the stage when things aren't working. He goes, you can't tell me what to do.
Right.
And he goes, I'm not telling you what to do. He says that just from a fan perspective, that's not very respectful. He says, I've had shows where shit is going wrong, but I don't walk off the stage. I just make it work.
Right.
But anyway, long story short, he's just like Bobby. He says Bobby does everything in his power, especially in his book that he had put out about the rat tails or whatever it was. And he's just like, yeah, Don Dokken fucked my wife, and he came all over her chest, and he blew a load in her face, and he's a gigolo, and I said, surprise, Don Dokken's a guy.
Yeah.
We all do that, dude. And I was just more or less grabbing a line from a Chris Aiken, do you think this guy blew a load in her face? Do you think that she swallowed his cum? Do you think she got fucked in the ass? Surprise, Don Dokken's a guy.
Yeah.
We all do that. It's not because he's Don Dokken. We do that because we're guys. We're filthy, nasty animals.
Right. I mean, what do you think he did? Fucking sat in the bedroom and sang In My Dreams to her softly while caressing her hair? Shut up, faggot. Shit.
So anyway, I was thinking of you last night when we were having this discussion. I was like, he goes, wow, that's surprising. Dawn blew a load in her face. Holy shit, he only did that because he's some privileged rock star. It's like, no, we do that because we're dudes.
Yeah. That's what happens when a chick sucks our cock.
Right.
We either give it to them in their throat or on their face.
Right.
One of the two. That's it.
Yeah. But the way he was telling me how Bobby was like trying to disparage him, like he was like some filthy pig animal and all this and that, like Don Donkey, and he's a gigolo, and you know he blows a load in a woman's face. It's like, wow, really?
Yeah, so what does Bobby do?
I don't know the answer, but he was trying to trump it up as if he was like some disgusting immoral character.
Right.
It's like, what, he just does what normal dudes do.
Right, exactly. Just God forbid they actually talk about
what?
it.
You're liquoring this girl up to lower her inhibition so you can fuck her? What?
How could that be?
Nobody's ever done that in the history of man, you pig.
Yeah, God forbid. How that would be terrible. And I mean, for God's sakes, that was her joke. She made the joke to me yesterday. You know, at the table of,
but she wasn't expecting you to come out with a fuck her word.
Yeah, so what? But that was her joke.
She
was joking that I was trying to fuck her. So I just hit her with maybe a between the eyes punchline.
Of course.
You know, whatever.
I was making an innuendo, but then you turned around and actually said the words.
Yeah.
You said the words. Now my hair is on fire.
I'm not serving you anymore.
Yeah. Here's your check, sir. Feel free to pay it on your way out. I won't be returning to your table.
I'm surprised you didn't pass it to somebody else to give me.
Really?
It was all right though. Whatever. She can be mad at me. I
Sure.
don't care. I'll never see her again.
Right. So anyway, you had dinner and you offended the waitress. So go from there.
All right. So after dinner, we had to drive 10 minutes or whatever over to the place, the Tangier. And for people that don't know, the Tangier, you've been there, right?
Yeah, it's just a little west of Akron on Market Street.
Yeah. What do you think that place holds?
A couple hundred people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a supper club.
It's a teeny place. I've seen Bobcat Goldweight there, and I've seen a couple other people there, but it's just a couple hundred seater.
Right, and it is definitely not a concert venue to where you have like rows of seats.
No, it's tables and chairs in a room. It's like a comedy club almost.
Yeah, exactly. And so we get there to this little place, and the babies are playing there. Of course, and you remember these days all too well, my friend. We get there. There's 3 of us. I have 4 tickets and 4 VIP passes waiting for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Well, we got to go find the manager.
Yeah, of course. It's, we only got 2 for you. Oh, no. Well, that's not going to work. Who set this up for you? I set it up directly with John, the singer, through Jen, who's their publicist.
Sure.
So, and to be fair to the Tangier people, and I will be, because they really did a good job with this. They were not nasty about it. They were not, well, you don't have them, get the fuck out of the way, guys. They were very nice, very cordial. They were like, let me call Janelle, who was, I don't know if she was their road manager or what, but they were like, we'll get Janelle out here and we'll get this handled. And this fucking smoking hot chick, Janelle, comes out. And I mean, she is a Chris Aiken special.
Nice.
Just real cute, straight brown hair, sexy as fuck. Just, I would have sat on her lap all night if she would have let me and just crushed her.
Who would you compare her to looks wise?
Maybe a short Jennifer Aniston type.
Okay, I get you.
But short,
but
like 5 foot tall.
All right.
Just really, really good looking girl. And just super, super nice and, just a total sweetheart, taking care of me and getting me a ticket or whatever. So she says to me, she goes, well, we got you, I'll give you the extra wristband, but we don't necessarily have extra tickets. And I said, well, that's fine, I guess, whatever. As long as we can get in, we'll grab a table or we'll grab a chair from somewhere. We'll be fine. Whatever. And she goes, no, that's not acceptable. Let me see what I can do about this. So she walks away for, 5 minutes or so. And she comes back and she hands us a 3rd ticket. She goes, okay, I got you a 3rd ticket. It's like, okay, cool. Very cool. Thank you. So she tells us on the way in, she goes, the way this works at this venue is that everybody has assigned tables on their tickets, but it's a first come first serve at the table. So the quicker you get to your table,
you can position yourself anywhere, and then anybody else who's assigned to that table just has to accept what they get.
Right, has to fill in around.
Sure.
So we go ahead and go right in, and our table's empty. We were at table 1. And we go to our table, and we're the first 3 there. The table has 10 chairs around it. Okay, it's a bigger table. And so we sit down, and we order some drinks. And man, I did do a lot of drinking last night. Oof. But we sat down, we get some drinks, and we're just kind of hanging out and just bullshit, like you do. We're bullshitting for a little while, just talking about different shit, whatever. Well, in comes this other group. Okay, there's 8 of them, 8 of them in the group, and they're all like, oh, we're at table 1, and we're like, okay, well, cool, how you do? We were just being pleasant, cordial. Sure. How you doing? I'm Chris. I'm just Kelly. Blah blah. Standard shit. Well, they start sitting down, and they just move chairs around, sit down. And the guys that were there was 7 guys and 1 chick. So the guys all sit down, and the girl's like, wait a minute, we have this table. And I was like, no, we have tickets. Here they are. We all put our ticket on the table. Mm-hmm. So the guys were like, they sit down and whatnot, and and my friend Bob said, well, hey, we'll just grab a chair from somewhere else,
slide it in here.
Yeah, we'll just slide it in. Everybody will shift down a little bit. It's fine. And this is a big table, so it's not like anybody's going to be really cramped.
Right.
It's not like we're going to all be shoulder to shoulder type. It's a big table.
Sure.
So she looks at me when I say this and just scowls, and she's like, that's not going to be acceptable. I'm going to go get the manager. I was like, I literally looked at her. I looked at my friend Bob, and I looked at Kelly, and I just looked at this lady. I was like, okay, go get the manager, because I got fucking tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at this point now. I'm pissed, and I'm not going to move at this point. I'm much more likely to throw my drink at her and get thrown out than I am at fucking moving at this point. So she goes, comes back. She sits down. Now the show has not even started yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But she sits at the end of the table in a chair, because they were waiting on one other guy or something, and turns the chair around back to us.
Mm-hmm.
Because she couldn't look at the rest of the table.
Sure. Well, she was pulling a George Lynch, playing with his back to the crowd, because fuck you. This is my protest.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, all the rest of us that were at the table, we're all getting along great. You guys are there at some internet station, KMRA, KRMA, Karma Radio. In fact, you know who I was sitting next to? And you might know this name. Most people probably won't. And this is actually a funny sub-story. So the one guy says to me, you're sitting next to a radio legend?
He said, yeah, his name's Chris Aiken. I look at him in the mirror every day.
Well, no, I didn't say nothing.
I know. I'm just being funny.
I don't try to draw attention to anything.
I know. I'm the same way.
And I was like, oh, yeah? Who? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
And he goes, that guy sitting next to you, that's Stan Pyatt. Do you know who Stan Pyatt is?
I know the name. I'm not familiar with him, but I do recall this guy from years ago.
Yeah, he was on like WNIR or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, how you doing, Stan? I don't know. I don't know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Bob looks at this guy Stan and goes, yeah, well, he was on WMMS for 10 years too.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh,
yeah.
Like, no. Oh yeah, well, what, the same story. Oh yeah, well, what did you do? Oh, what are you doing now?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same old thing.
Sure.
I was like, what I do now is I literally said this to the one guy. I said, what I do now is I watch a lot of concerts.
Sure.
I did not want to get into.
Yeah, I get it. Well, not to deviate from your story.
Yeah.
But remember the show back in June that I went for the Dawkins show in Warsaw, Indiana, and everybody was just sitting there, and it wasn't, people just wouldn't get up and move.
Right.
So I'm at the show last night in Sioux Falls, and this guy walks up to me and he says, "Hey, you were at that Warsaw show."
Wow.
He said, "You came out and talked to us."
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, he was one of the guys in the group. Remember when I told that story about how I went out in the group, and then people were just like, "Oh my God, Neely from the Classic Metal Show's here. That shit you do with that Jennifer." They started that. He goes, "Dude, you were at that Warsaw show. You came out and talked to us."
Wow.
I was just like,
amazing.
It's like, yeah, he says, "I wouldn't have missed this show for the world, but I saw you and I had to come over and say hello."
Right.
It's like, all right, great, thanks.
I know, it's so funny.
Glad you made it.
And it's the same thing. Like, when they were introducing me to this Stan guy, I looked at Stan, and there's that little thing that, us radio guys know, which is don't fuck with the guy.
Right.
He's not there to talk about the glory days.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I shook his hand. I said, "Hey, Stan, nice to meet you."
Sure.
That's the end of my involvement.
Right.
So, what am I supposed to do? Dude, do you remember on WNI? Oh, I don't remember either, because I never listened. What am I supposed to do?
That was before your time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is an old guy. This
I
guy's
know.
70 years old or something. And now he's doing internet radio. So, okay, the career hasn't gone as planned.
Sure.
I get it. It's fine. But whatever. So, meanwhile, I want to backtrack a little bit to when the lady went off to go find security.
Sure.
We talked to the rest of the guys at the table. And we said the same thing that we said to her. We said, dude, nobody wants this to be a hassle. Let's fucking rearrange the chairs a little bit and we'll be fine. And they were all like, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Let's just have a good time.
9 times out of 10, most guys don't make an issue about most things.
Guys don't give a fuck. As long as everybody can see, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you need? We got this big fucking table. It's probably 6-8 feet in diameter. It's a big-ass table.
Mm-hmm.
We each need about 7 inches of the table to set a drink on.
Sure.
Maybe set your phone down on, and that's it. So who gives a shit? But and the guys were with us. They didn't give a fuck. But she had to go make her fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
So she walks off, comes back with security. Security's like, security had seen us sitting there and ordering drinks or whatever, so they weren't going to give us a hard time. And they just looked and said, you guys got tickets? Yeah. Okay, why don't we pull over another chair then?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the security did.
Sure.
They just pulled over another chair, same as we were going to do.
It's official now, though.
Yeah. This bitch was furious. This fucking fat cunt. Her goddamn face got beat red like she'd run a quarter mile. She just a fucking angry, bitter cunt.
Well, what is it that she wanted? In reality, what did you anticipate what she wanted? She wanted
us to be moved to another table.
So she just basically wanted her and her friends
at her table.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Did anybody tell her you exclusively bought this whole table just for yourselves?
Oh, no, she didn't buy those tickets. Let me just tell you, she was comped. So she didn't buy them either.
Okay.
They were comped the same way I was, except they got theirs through... I got mine directly...
From the band.
Directly from an interaction with John Bazaha, the singer of the Babies.
Mm-hmm.
Who personally invited me to the show.
Sure.
That's how mine came to be. They got theirs through a standard channel.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it matters. It doesn't fucking matter. It's not like I'm better or whatever. But,
sure.
But it was just so fucking stupid. And it was like, truthfully, when we went to the show, we were all joking at the restaurant about how many people would be there.
Mm-hmm.
We were all like, what do you think, 30 people, 50 people? We had no idea it would sell out.
Okay.
I mean, would you think that the Babies would draw 300 people?
I got to be honest with you. I don't know that much about them at all.
You would know maybe 3 songs.
Maybe.
You would for sure. Pull up Spotify real quick because I can't do it and play it for you.
Okay.
But I can tell you which songs.
All right.
And I know you'll know them.
All right.
Tell me when.
I'm pulling it up. The Babies.
Yeah. Look for the anthology. Or probably just the top hits because it'll be Isn't It Time, Every Time I Think of You, and Back on My Feet Again. You'll know all 3 of those.
Okay.
Play any one of them and see if you know it.
All right. Let me see here. We've got the most popular is Slow Walkin'.
What?
Meet Me in the City. This is the Babies.
I don't know any of those.
Get Lost. Mess Me Around. This one,
anthology?
It says Get Lost has 1,195,893 plays.
How do you spell this? Babies?
Correct.
Spell Babys.
Okay. Let me do this one.
All right.
Babys.
Yep.
Okay. The Babies. There we are.
Number 1, 2, and 3 should be Isn't It Time, Every Time I Think of You, and Back on My Feet Again is my guess.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah. Play Isn't It Time. You'll know it first notes.
And even looking at these numbers here, they're not even at 1 million plays.
Yeah. I mean, they were a mid-level 70s rock band.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's play a little bit of this. This is Every Time I Think of You.
Yeah.
Every time I think of you, it always turns out good. Every time I've held you, I thought you understood.
Then again, the chorus.
People say a love like ours will surely pass, but I know a love like ours will last and last. But maybe I was wrong not knowing how our love should go. How our love should go. But I wasn't wrong not knowing how our love would grow. How our love would grow. And every time I think of you, every time I think of you, every single time, it always turns out good.
All right. Yeah, I definitely know that one.
All right, now play Isn't It Time. You'll know that one, too.
Okay.
Falling in love was the last thing I had on my mind.
I can tell that's Jonathan Cain on keyboard. I know. I know his keyboard's anywhere, man.
All right, maybe we should have played that game with Ollie.
Yeah, exactly.
Holding you is a warmth that I thought I could never find. Just trying to decide or stay by your side. I know I could cry. I just can't find the answers to the questions that keep going through my mind. Hey babe, isn't it time? It's your time to wake. Falling in love could be your mistake. Isn't it time? It's your time to wake. Falling in love could be your mistake.
You know that one, right?
Yeah, of course. I always put them in the same category as like a Todd Rundgren.
Yeah.
Kind of in that same vein.
But they're a fairly... You would know at least 3 other songs.
Sure.
You would know. I mean, they had like 5 or 6 legitimate songs, but they just were not a name band.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm looking at these plays here, and even the most popular songs haven't even topped 1 million plays.
Yeah, they were Billy Squier.
Sure,
not even Billy Squier. They were whatever Bananarama, only in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So, so they're not this huge band, but I like them. So, anyway, where were we in the story? We were
so this woman gets the chair pulled up and she's pissed off, and you're at the table, and
yeah, and we just didn't we just adjusted and we sat down and that was it. Now, and she sat there pouting for the whole night, and we really didn't give a fuck. It was just that simple. So then basically, the show started, and I got to tell you, man, that fucking show kicked ass. I mean, of all the shows I've seen, I would put it in top 20 I've ever seen.
So was it the energy?
It was a little bit of all of it. First of all, Tangier is maybe the best sound of any venue in Cleveland.
It's a small room.
But the sound, I mean, was mint.
Yeah.
Like playing a CD mint.
Okay.
They have a new singer. They have John Bazaha as the singer, and he's replaced John Waite. Now, and I know you've seen John Waite as well.
I have seen him several times. I saw him with Bad English. I saw him solo with you.
Right. Would you agree that he is a great singer with shit stage presence.
Yeah, for the most, he's got a recognizable vocal for sure.
Sure, but he's boring on stage.
Yeah, he's not exactly Mr. Excitement, but he definitely has a recognizable vocal style.
Right, and I mean he's got perfect vocals, and I compare him a lot to Steve Perry, as everybody sort of does, but in that Steve Perry has a perfect voice, but he's not all that energetic on stage.
Sure,
he sort of stands in the middle and sings the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, John Bazaha, the new singer, he is kind of a dead ringer for John Waite. I mean, he sounds like John Waite.
Sure.
But more energy than damn near anybody I've seen in the rock genre. I mean, I see it a lot more in the metal genre, but he reminded me a lot of Jeff Pilson when I see Pilson with Foreigner.
Yeah, but Pilson's always like thrashing around and banging his head and really just getting into it.
Right, and that was Bazaha last night.
Okay.
That stage is little. And, I mean, he's running around the stage, and he was mugging for anybody that stuck a cell phone up. You know, he was mugging for camera shots. He must have taken, literally during the show, while he was performing, he took probably 50 pictures.
Sure.
You know, just was playing it up. He was engaging the crowd. He was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But so was the rest of the band. For a bunch of old guys, you know, I didn't know much about the guys. You know, I interviewed Wally Stocker. I didn't know anything about Wally Stocker, really. You know, and all I knew was those soft songs. Well, they have a lot of rockin' songs, like pretty hard rockin', you know, kind of Stone and Love-ish type of shit.
Okay.
And they were kicking ass, man. That Wally Stocker was ripping on guitar, and he was sort of Jimmy Page-ish.
Okay.
You know, like real groove-oriented and kind of ethereal sounds and stuff, and it was really, really good. And then, but the guy that won it for me was the drummer, this guy Tony Brock. Have you ever heard of this guy?
I don't know him, no.
I didn't know him either. He comes out. He's wearing clothes that should have been left in your great grandfather's closet.
Okay.
No, he's wearing like a silk vest with a white shirt with the big collars. You know, the real big.
Yeah, the big drapey collars.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And a pair of, I don't know if they were leather pants or just black jeans or whatever, and he's got white hair. And to see him, he definitely looks every minute of whatever age he is, and I'm guessing mid-60s to late 60s. So when he walked out, because they just sort of walked out on stage, and then they introduced him, but the lights were on and everything. It wasn't like they went black or anything.
Mm-hmm.
They just sort of came out on stage. And I saw this dude hit the stage. I was like, oh, my God, look at this grandpa. You know, I didn't think he was going to be able to play.
Sure.
This fucking guy kicked ass. I mean, he was great. As rock drumming goes, this guy was every bit as good as anybody I've ever seen at a rock show.
Sure. Like
Steve Smith type of great.
Right, sure.
Just really, really, really all over the place with his different, you know, with different rhythms and different fills and stuff. You know, I always, because I used to play drums, as you know, I pay attention a little bit to the drummers. So I was watching this guy. I was like, God damn, this fucking guy can play.
Sure.
You know, but it was like the combination of these guys. And then you had this keyboard guy that looked like Anderson Varejao from the Cavs, or formerly of the Cavs. You know, but he was playing the keyboards. And then you had this guy, Joey Sykes. He was the rhythm player. Guy looked like he should be in a Clash tribute band.
Okay.
But man, did he bring it. And I mean, the whole thing was just high energy. Everybody was into it. The band sounded amazingly good, amazingly tight. No fuck-ups that I heard. And, you know, and they ripped. It was one of those shows where they said, all right, you know, that's it. And they left the stage for a second, came back and closed the set. And I looked at my friend Bob, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? 45 minutes? He's like, dude, that's like 2 hours. It was one of those shows where it just went real fast because it was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And just real quick, I'm not saying the guy was Jimmy Page. I'm not comparing him to Jimmy Page. I'm saying his sound was Jimmy Page-ish.
Right.
Not that he was Jimmy Page. Settle down, people. For God's sakes. Jesus. I'm making a comparison so people can understand.
He had that style.
Yeah, he did. He had that kind of blues, but not super tight style. I don't know what you call that other than Jimmy Page-ish.
Sure.
But so they finished their set. It was a great time. They were really, really good. So now we're going to fast forward to after the gig. We sat in our seats for a little while, let everybody go out. And then we walked out, and there was a line, to explain the Tangier, the door is all the way to the right. And then as you walk in, there's like a little, I don't know what you call it, like an alcove or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That they set up a table, and then the band was sitting in there, signing autographs and taking pictures or whatever. But the line went way past that, past where you would pay your admission to get in, and there's a bar on the right side. And the line went all the way past the bar and kind of swung around a little bit. So we were like, fuck this, let's just go have some drinks, And so we went over to the bar and we ordered some drinks and we were waiting for the line to go. And, the story I told earlier about the guy recognizing me happened at that point. Blah, blah,
mm-hmm.
blah. So we wait there for maybe like 45 minutes or so, have a couple drinks. And then we look up and the line is gone. So we're like, all right, let's go over there. And, I personally wanted photos. So we walk over and who's there but that group that was with us
mm-hmm.
at the table.
Right.
So, and the band invited them to come behind where they were to take photos. So they got this one group shot of the whole band, with the crew. And I guess that was it because then they all left, Well, that just left us, us and like two other people that were mingling. And man, this band could not have been nicer.
Sure.
I mean, they were signing everything. They invited us. Hey, come on back, take photos. I'm taking pictures with everybody in the band and the girls that made up the Babettes that sang on stage and,
mm-hmm.
And just bullshitting with these guys for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I mean, they were so cordial for a band that didn't know us from anything. I'd interviewed the two guys, but much like George, that doesn't mean anything, doesn't
mm-hmm.
mean you know them.
Right.
But they were completely nice and gracious and appreciated that we came out and just the whole experience was really, really good. So it was a good night. I would strongly encourage anybody that just likes, even if you don't know the songs, look them up on Spotify. You'll know 5 or 6 of them. And if they come where you're coming, go see it because it was a fucking kick-ass show.
Oh, that's cool.
And you know me, dude. If it wasn't, regardless of if I know the guys, I would say it.
Yeah. Well, just the fact that, you took the effort to, leave the Man Palace in Twinsburg and go down to Akron and, do the whole dinner thing and, go to a show that for the most part, you fairly unfamiliar aside from the very top hits.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really didn't know what to expect. I knew I was going to know 4 or 5 tunes, but I didn't know that I was going to have such a great time.
Sure.
So, and it really was great. I will definitely go see them anytime they come back.
Yeah. Well,
it was a fantastic show.
I had I've told this story on the show before. I had a fairly similar experience with somebody that doesn't have a lot of hits, and I know a few of their songs and never was big on them, but they put on a fantastic show. Is that Every Mother's Nightmare?
Oh yeah.
They played at Billy's Club when he still owned the Revolution in Parma, and he had Every Mother's Nightmare play there. And I went there after a Nautica show and filtered in there, and they were playing, and I was just like, holy cow, these guys are great.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they played well. The sound was stellar. And a lot of the songs I didn't know. I knew a few, but I didn't know their catalog that real well, and I just filtered in there, and I was just like, wow.
Right.
I would go see them again.
Sure. I'd like to address Scotty in the chat room because he makes a very valid point. He says, the blonde backup singer is seriously fuckable, in my opinion. Is you right on that? I couldn't make the way they were set up. The guys from the band were sitting at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when people were going through getting their shit signed, they were going to just basically the guys. Well, he ain't lying about this blonde. She was smoking hot. Like 5'8" blonde. You know what she kind of looked like in a sort of way? And this is going to not necessarily be the greatest example, but do you remember Blair from The Facts of Life?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like early Blair, not when Blair ate Blair.
Lisa Weckel.
Yeah. You remember when she was really hot before she got all fat?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She looked kind of like that girl.
Okay.
I mean, she was hot. And I walked up to her and just like, oh, you got to let me take a picture. And she was like, she was just messing with me. She's like, why? And I was like, because I take pictures with all the hot chicks.
Mm-hmm.
She just laughed and she's like, yeah, okay, come on, take a picture.
Sure. Well, speaking of backup singers that I always thought was kind of hot, and especially because she's just very charismatic and animated on stage. When you and I struck up a friendship with our good friend Ian Evans, who unfortunately passed away, who was the bassist in Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Sure.
One of the backup singers, her name is Carol Chase.
Okay, yeah.
And I always had a little thing for her. I mean, this is before I even knew Ian.
Right.
And she, I'd seen Lynyrd Skynyrd a half a dozen times or whatever, and I'd always watch this chick, and then when I got to know Ian, and a little, on a real personal level, friendly basis, he invited me out to a Lynyrd Skynyrd show in Chicago, and I went. And then after the show, he's just like, "Why don't you come up and hang out with us? We're up here at the Ritz-Carlton."
Right.
And so I went up there to the bar, and Ian came down, and we were kind of hanging out. And I said, Ian, I said, I want to ask you a favor. I said, I kind of had a little thing for your backup singer, Carol Chase. He goes, really? Yeah. He goes, yeah, I mean, Carol, we've been friends for a lot of years. And I said, I kind of had a thing for her. And he goes, you want her to come down?
Oh, yes, I do.
And I said, sure, I'd love to meet her. And so he got on his cell phone and called her, and she came down. And he goes, I want you to meet my friend Wendell here. He's kind of got a crush on you. And she's like, oh, is that so? And so she just got like real friendly with me and everything. Nice. Like, wow. So I got a couple pictures of her and I'm sitting on a bar stool, and she's like standing between my knees, and I got my hands around her waist and everything.
All right, nice. Be honest, man. Did you hit that?
No, I did not.
Come on.
No, but I did see her 2 or 3 times, and she was always really friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Really friendly. Just nice girl. But no, I did not.
Dude. See, you're slacking.
Yeah, I guess.
That's the kind you can hit it and totally quit it.
Sure.
You don't have to see her again.
Right. But, she was always just very charismatic on stage and had a nice bod, and she was just always... a little older. She was probably in her late 50s at the time. This was like 10 years ago, but
right.
But she still was pretty smoking hot.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
So
I'm going to put this picture. Go to the chat room real quick.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put this picture in here in a second because I want to show you this drummer guy. And you tell me, does this guy look like he's every bit of 136? I mean, he looked old, but he fucking kicked ass.
So that blonde girl that you got your arm around, that's the girl?
Yeah, that's the Babette.
Yeah.
Well,
she was taller than you.
Yeah, she's big.
She was a big girl.
Big tall girl.
She's a big Amazon girl.
No, there's nothing Amazon there. She was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Look at those big old boobies.
Nice.
But look at this guy.
Oh, yeah.
You saw that guy. Would you think this guy could play?
Yeah, he's definitely got that age on him, but
Yeah. But boy, he brought it.
Mm-hmm. Well, good for him.
Yeah, doesn't he look like somebody's great-grandfather?
Sure he does.
Yeah.
Hey,
And you can sort of see the big lapel.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah, good time, though, man. Good time last night.
Well, good. I'm glad you did something different and really was surprised at the end result.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that show, and just good time, man. I'm gonna start doing now that I don't have to travel every fucking week. I'm gonna start doing more shit again.
Sure. Look at Jackal. Peter Chris.
It's Peter Chris's dad, man.
Yeah. Nice. So good.
He looks old, man, but great guy, super nice too. He was other than John the singer, he was the most talkative of the bunch.
Right.
The other guys were like, "Hey, how you doing?" This guy was like, "Dude, so glad you came out to the show, man." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, we've been out on tour, and we play these gigs, we do fly-ins here and that." Yeah, he was a blah, 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 blah. I think he was happy somebody noticed him.
Right.
But I did. He was great.
Well,
real
good.
Cool.
Good. Glad that all worked out for you and had a good time.
Yep, good stuff.
Good. Excellent. All right, anything more?
Nah, I say we get a drink and then we crossover. We could do the crossover. We can talk both music and racism and shit talk all at the same time.
I thought they did a podcast. Oh no, that's talking. Oh, shit talk.
Yeah, shit talk.
This is dirt talk.
Yeah,
dirt talk.
He needs to bring that back. Maybe somebody pay attention again.
Sure. Well, what would you like to hear?
Well, I'd like to hear the Babies. I'm totally in Babies Hangover, but that's like too soft for the show.
Mm-hmm.
So how about some New Testament?
Some New Testament.
Did I send it to you?
You did send it to me. I don't think I downloaded it though.
What the fuck?
Well, because I left the town and I didn't pull it down.
All right, then let's pick something else. How about hey, Faith No More over there?
I may have. Let's take a look here. We got in the old Faith No More. Let's see here. Faith No More. DEF. There it is. I do have that. Yes. Faith No More. I have several albums here. What do you want?
From The Real Thing.
Okay.
How about if we go with the title track, The Real Thing?
Okay. This isn't enough. The new thing. This is the real thing. Right. All right. Well, here's some Faith No More, and we'll go get a drink, and we'll come back, and Chris has got something special for us.
Yep.
All right. It's Faith No More exclusively here
on your classic metal show.